Fact comes from the Latin verb facere, meaning to make or do. Thus, a fact was originally simply something done. A benefactor is someone who does good. And to manufacture is to make, usually in a factory. Factor, something that contributes to producing a result, ingredient. The most important factor in the success of the treaty talks was the physical presence of the two presidents. In Latin, factor means simply doer. So in English, a factor is an actor or element or ingredient in some situation or quantity. Charm can be a factor in someone's success, and lack of exercise can be a factor in producing a poor physique. In math, we use factor to mean a number that can be multiplied or divided to produce a given number. For example, 5 and 8 are factors of 40. And in biology, a gene may be called a factor, since genes are ingredients in the total organism. Factotum, a person whose job involves doing many different kinds of work. Over the years, she had become the office factotum, who might be doing legal research one day and organizing the company picnic the next. This odd word doesn't come from ancient Latin, but it was coined to look as if it did. The term Johannes Factotum, meaning jack of all trades, first shows up in writing in 1592 to describe none other than Shakespeare himself. The word gopher is similar to factotum, but a bit less dignified. In other words, a factotum is an assistant, but one who may have taken over some fairly important functions. Facile, 1. Easily accomplished. 2. Shallow, superficial. The principal made a facile argument for the school's policy, but no one was convinced. A facile suggestion doesn't deal with the issue in any depth, and a facile solution may be only temporarily effective. A facile writer is one who seems to write too quickly and easily, and a careful reader may discover that the writer hasn't really said very much. Facilitate, to make something easier, to make something run more smoothly. Her uncle hadn't exactly gotten her the job, but he had certainly facilitated the process. Facilitating is about getting things done. Clever employees are quietly facilitating all kinds of useful activity within their organizations all the time. People who lead therapy groups or workshops are often called facilitators, since their job isn't to teach or to order but rather to make the meetings as productive as possible. Even businesses now use facilitators in meetings where they don't want any person's particular desires to outweigh anyone else's. The facilitation of a rewarding discussion should be a facilitator's only goal. Today, in recognition of the many different situations that may call for a facilitator, there is even an international association of facilitators. Lum comes from the Latin noun lumen, meaning light. Thus, our word illuminate means to supply with light or make clear, and illumination is light that shines on something. Lumen in physics, the standard unit for measuring the rate of the flow of light. The lumen is a measure of the perceived power of light. There are two common units for measuring light, the candela and the lumen. Both are recognized as standard international units, which also include the second, for time, the kilogram, for weight, and the meter, for length. The candela is a measure of intensity. An ordinary candle gives off light with the intensity of about 1 candela. The lumen is a measure of luminous flux. A standard 100-watt light bulb gives off 1500 to 1700 lumens. Luminous flux indicates how much light is actually perceived by the human eye. Technologies vary in how efficiently they turn electricity into light. Halogen lights produce about 12 lumens per watt, ordinary incandescent light bulbs produce about 15 lumens per watt, and compact fluorescent bulbs produce about 50 lumens per watt. Luminous, 1. Producing or seeming to produce light. 2. Filled with light. She ended her recital with a luminous performance of Ravel's song Cycle, and the crowd called her back for repeated encores. Luminous, like its synonyms radiant, shining, glowing, and lustrous, is generally a positive adjective, especially when it describes something that doesn't literally glow, such as a face, a performance, or a poem. Luminous signs depend on a gas such as neon, krypton, argon, xenon, or radon, and you can use luminous, day glow, paint to make your own signs. New technologies have now given us luminous fabrics, which are being used to produce striking or creepy effects in clothing, upholstery, and interior surfaces. Bioluminescent relating to light given off by living organisms. Most of the light emitted by bioluminescent marine organisms is blue or blue-green. Bio comes from the Greek word for life, cbio. On land, fireflies, glowworms, and the foxfire fungus are all known for their bioluminescence. In the sea, bioluminescent lifeforms include plankton, squid, and comb jellies, as well as some unusual fish. Most deep-sea animals are bioluminescent, but single-celled algae living at or near the surface can also create a remarkable show, as they often do in bioluminescent bay on the Puerto Rican island of Vieques. But bioluminescence is unknown in true plants, and mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians never got the knack of it either.